What it do? What it do? Welcome to the Genius Club. I am your boy, Lean Jeans, man. We gonna get right into it. Hey, man, look. So it's been a lot of stuff going on with the Diddy trial. You know, you have major media outlets. You know what I mean? Going crazy, going stupid with their narrative. You know what I'm saying? And then you have social media, right? Which is all of it is kind of like a conglomerate, right? Major media outlets, social media, YouTubers, bloggers, you know what I'm saying? But what I find funny is how divided, everybody is. And when you put them into categories, like when you really put them into categories, it's like, you possibly could be looking at the jury. Like, okay, if it's 12 jurors, what are those 12 jurors thinking? Who are they? Are they white, black, male, female, other cultures? I mean, where they come from, right? You like, okay, let's do the math. But I just find it funny, and I wanted to bring it up to y'all, you know what I mean? And see how y'all feel about this shit, because it's like, and we gonna get into it. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get into it about, how divided everybody is with, is he innocent? Is he guilty? He gonna get 5 years, he gonna get a dub, he gonna get 30. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, we are dealing with the feds. And it's sticky. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's sticky for Diddy. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But before I get to rambling on, let's get right into it, man. I got some videos. Let's see what the first one is. Okay, let's go to Miss Sylvia right here. Shout out to Sylvia. Let's go see what she think.
Like that.
And all he's doing is what? Just summarizing
everything, trying to connect.
Is it a slam dunk for the prosecution? Is it a slam dunk for the defense? Is there reasonable doubt? Do you have a position yet?
Yes, I have a position. That position is that it's not a slam dunk for the prosecution. I do believe that he may get something, and it would be more towards the prostitution side. I would say that part. But as far as anything else, the D-rug, no, nothing like that. Rico, no.
Now the defense, after this federal agent.
Yeah, so a lot of people think, they ain't gonna be able to prove the Rico. I'm gonna tell you what I think in a minute. You know what I'm saying? And some people think that they done already proved Rico. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Let me tell y'all what I think real quick. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let y'all know in a minute. Let's go to the next one though. Let's look at this. I don't know who this is neither, by the way. I think it was Real Life. I know she was on Real Life Production TV. So, they podcast. Shout out to him. Let's go.
Past 7 weeks, they reminded you have heard how he's used his staff to protect his power and fulfill his desires, the physical, freaky ones. In Rico, y'all, you have to understand the mindset is everybody don't believe Rico has been proven. It has been proven. It has. And what the government kept driving home is when someone commits a crime as a part of a group, they are more dangerous than an individual that does not commit it with a group attached. But that's what happened. That is what they allege has happened with the Freaky Rico.
Now, it seems to me is, old girl, she seemed to be on, the prosecution side. Now, let's see what Myra Gaines got to say. Shout out to him, man. Fresh and fit. Let's go.
Parties. It wasn't him compromising individuals. This is a very big difference from Epstein. As you guys know, Jeffrey Epstein, who was an asset of Israeli intelligence, what he did was he would compromise powerful people and blackmail them. And when they were blackmailed by them hooking up with women or little girls that he would put them in touch with, he would use that to his advantage later on and blackmail them. Diddy wasn't like that. Diddy's situation was, I'm going to just have my girl get smashed by these escorts that I pay and I can go into it and watch it. And contrary to what people think, he did this for a very long time undetected. He did a very damn good job of ensuring that this stuff never came out. Now, what fucked him up was Cassie went ahead and sued him, all right? And when Cassie sued him, and back in, I think, the end of 2023, she filed a lawsuit against him for like 23 million or 33 million. She ended up getting 20 million from the lawsuit. But the long story short is, in this lawsuit, it alleged all the patterns of sexual activity and the freak-offs that they used to do, where she felt like she was being coerced or whatever. Now, the defense during the trial did a good job of showing that a lot of this stuff was consensual. She was involved in the freak-offs. She would coordinate and bring the escorts there. She'd pay the escorts, etc. So this is why I think the defense did a really good job of, cross-examining a lot of the witnesses, and this is why they didn't necessarily need to bring their own witnesses, because they were able to attack Jane and Cassie and show that their credibility is a little off, because it's like, wait, hold on one second. So you're sitting here saying that you were, the victim of a freak off and you're being abused, sexually abused, all this other stuff, but you were with this man for years. He's paying your bills. He's taking care of you. You're sending him DM messages saying that you want to get smashed by these escorts. What the hell are you talking about? So this is what the defense did, where they attacked their credibility. Now, I do want to note that with Cassie, okay, she did end up winning $20 million in the lawsuit from Diddy. He settled within 24 hours. Okay. And then on top of that, she got another 10 million from Intercontinental Hotel. As you guys remember, that hotel where, you see the video of Diddy throwing her on the ground and hitting her. That was the Intercontinental Hotel. She sent a demand to Intercontinental and was able to get 10 million from them. So, and this came out during trial. This was not publicly reported until it came out in the trial, because the defense found out that she got a $10 million settlement right before the trial started. So, and I was there for a lot of this testimony. So, it's very important that you guys understand that Epstein and Diddy are not related whatsoever.
Hey, Myron make a good point. The Diddy defense, they like, they the new team. You know what I'm saying? They the new team. I mean, Mark Effalo, ain't that how you say his name? Brian Steele and everybody else going on over there. Yeah, they pretty good. Let's look at another side of this shit. Shout out to Tisa Tales, man. It's all good. She don't like Diddy.
Diddy's going to jail. They got him dead. The prosecution laid out one of the best closing. Listen, first of all, I'd like to apologize to the prosecution. I don't know how I even lost a little bit of faith. Y'all, Diddy is done. And when I say he is done, he is done. That man is going off to the worst. He is done for. Y'all, what actually happened in the Sean Diddy Combs case? Diddy's going to jail. They got him dead. The prosecution laid out one of the best closing arguments I've ever seen or witnessed, and Diddy was stuck. This is a man. I'm on my way to ABC Live. We are going to be in ABC Live doing our thing. Y'all, listen, I apologize to the six-pack of prosecutors. They did their big one today. Oh my God, USA Attorney Slavic destroyed Diddy. All that stuff, people saying, I don't see the RICO, I don't see this. Let me tell you, the jury was locked in. Everybody was locked in. It is undeniable. And they kept saying the same thing we've been saying. First of all, off the bat, that whole thing about the predicate acts and they're dropping it from 7 to 3 to 4, yeah, that was way all base. They actually have 8 predicate acts. They have bribery. They have forced labor. They have obstruction of justice and obstruction of justice for sex trafficking. They have forced labor, listen. And the feds read Diddy down. This closing argument was all day. We weren't allowed to leave only for a second. It was all day. And when I tell you, beyond a reasonable doubt, that man is done. The jury was locked in. And the feds kept saying, You don't need to think it 20 times. This doesn't need to be continuous. You only need one.
Yeah, so, you know, Tisha tells, you know what I mean, it's in her name. It said. I fuck with her though. I mean, everybody got a lane, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, one thing that I can say that I have been noticing is it seems like, you know, and I don't want to, you know, no shot to nobody, but you know, I gotta call it like how I see it. And it seemed like a lot of not black women around me though. Black women, well, some, but a lot of black women around me, um, you know, they tend to not believe the prosecution. You know what I'm saying? Some do. I mean, it's you know, everybody had their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Everybody have their narrative on who the fuck or what the fuck going on. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta let them have that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, at the same time, I'm like super realistic. Um, it is what it is type nigga, logical as a motherfucker. So I ain't really. Plus, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I can't look at it like how a female might be want to look at shit. Hey, let's look at law and crime, and basically that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm getting at. Like I think Diddy is gonna be free. Sidebar. Look at that. Shout out to Sean G. Sidebar. Like I think Diddy gonna be free. I mean, yeah, they can hit him. One okay, so this is the thing about it. What I gotta say about it is it's like, okay, they proved that he was on some Rico shit. But if I was a juror, which I'm not, I don't know what the fuck they thinking. It's all good. But if I was, I'm looking at it like, okay, you trying to prove Rico with a lot of little shit that is beyond a reasonable doubt. Cause any dumb motherfucker could understand, like a dumb motherfucker could understand Diddy just a billionaire. That don't mean that he was like putting shit in motion. Like, yeah, he was putting the freak offs in motion. Yeah, he might have had a couple times where the security guard did this, where the goddamn assistant did that. But my thing is this, and I think this is what every reasonable motherfucker coming to, and the conclusion that they're coming to is like this. Okay, yeah, okay, we ain't saying all right, Diddy, all right, yeah, woo, right? Diddy did all this shit, cool. But to lock him up for 20, 30 years is a little excessive. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what we saying, right? And yeah, get a man 5, 6 years. You know what I'm saying? He'll be out, do what, 80%? He'll be out, you know what I'm saying? But whole time, they trying to bank you for some shit that don't necessarily go with the law. Like, yeah, I can make it make sense, but it's still a big reasonable doubt about a lot of this shit. Only thing you can say is really the prostitution. You know what I'm saying? Cassie was with it. Jane Doe was with it. The other little bitch was with it. The other hoes ain't gonna come to the thing, to the court. They was missing witnesses. The prosecution was. Then they come back and say they're gonna drop the case, which you think that's a strategic move. Cool. I don't think it's a strategic move because any fumblings of the case, maybe if they trying to play technical shit by the law, cool. You want to do that shit? That's bullshit. And I don't even know why everybody trying to ride with that shit for real. Like, oh, I'm gonna get him on some technicalities. Get your goofy ass out of here, man. Straight up, get your goofy ass out of here, man. Let's go to Law and Order, man. Let's see what they talk about, and then we gonna go to Sean G, Nancy Grace, Neek at Night, and my guy right here. I don't know his name though, but he was saying some shit, and you see his shit right here. Conversations with Jay. He on there. And then we got We got Minister Jap, Make It Make Sense, Mims, and then academics and Judge Matthews. We gonna run through that. I'm gonna let this shit play, and I'm gonna come right back at y'all when I'm just let this shit play through and let y'all look at this shit.
Oliveira Nikolic asks, do you think that Jane's testimony was a total fiasco, considering that she testified that she willingly agreed to everything? Shouldn't the prosecutors see that during preparation?
I do not think that Jane Doe's testimony was a waste of time. Let's say in this scenario where they don't believe that Jane Doe was coerced, right? What we did get from Jane Doe's testimony was a complete corroboration of everything that Cassie Ventura Fine testified to. We had a very, very good, a lot of the different ways in which she was manipulated and abused, and that the physicality between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura Fine's relationship, which then makes her more credible, right? So let's say we completely have Jane Doe, I don't believe that she was forced, I don't believe that she was coerced. You still have then bolstered Cassie Ventura Fine's testimony, and that will, again, still lead to a conviction based off of everything that she had testified to.
You also need another victim. I mean, if you're talking about a pattern of abusive victims, I mean, sure, Mia, question, Brianna McGowan, but she makes up another specific counts in this indictment for racketeering, for sex trafficking, for transportation to engage in prostitution. And there was a whole question about, wasn't there supposed to be another alleged victim that testified? Still kind of up in the air about what happened there. All right, David.
Tonight, and what is happening right now as we speak, is that mainstream media YouTubers that are pro-Puffy, YouTubers that are anti-Puffy, mainstream media that is anti-Puffy, social media vloggers, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers that don't care, they don't have a feeling either way, pro-Puff or anti-Puff, but they're into the clicks. And the way you get a lot of views and the way you get a lot of clicks with this trial is to be anti-Puff. So as we speak, and tonight, you are going to hear that Puffy is in trouble. And he is. He's in a bad situation. Yes, he is.
Do you need a loan for your business? Well, if you've been around for over a year, I'm about to show you how to get up to $3 million.
You're going to hear that based upon Christy Slavic's closing argument, that Puffy's guilty. There's no way out. It's all over. It was proven today that Puffy is guilty. Detroit. That's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear that he has no chance. You're going to hear that the prosecution made its case. You're going to hear that the prosecution was very methodical. They laid out their case. They tied it all together. They proved the RICO. That's what you're going to hear tonight. You are going to hear that. You're going to hear that. You're hearing it now. But what you have to understand, is that everything that Christy Slavic laid out today, all day, she took the whole day. Everything that she spoke on is old news that got destroyed in cross-examination over the last 6 weeks. Everything that Christy Slavic said today in her closing argument got annihilated and proven untrustworthy under cross-examination. It wilted under pressure. Everything that Christy Slavic laid out today in her closing argument melted. It melted under the pressure of a cross-examination by Tenny Garagos, Mark Agnifilo, Brian Steele, Nicole Westmoreland, Anna Esteveo, Jonathan Bach. Everything that she said has already been devastated over the last 6 weeks. Everything. It was rough for me. It was rough for me to stand in there and hear Assistant U.S. Attorney Slavic share what she shared, and to hear it and to know, because I have been an in-courtroom observer for 6 straight weeks. I've been here every day. To hear her characterize and give her subjective feeling about what she thought Cassie meant or this one meant or what they said, it was hard to listen to. And all I gotta say is that her performance was underwhelming at best. She read a document that it seemed like she was reading a document that somebody else wrote and gave it to her and said, read this. What's up, Joe?
I'm good. How you doing?
All right. It seemed like she was reading a document that somebody wrote and said, read this. And no feeling, no passion, no, it wasn't like she was married to the information, like she knew the information, like she studied, like she believed it, like it was hers. She didn't present it like it was hers. Like, yo, this is coming from me. I've studied this case. I didn't get that impression. Did you?
Yeah. I think that's what her objective. I'll give you the other side of the coin. Her objective, I think, was to make the jury understand, put pieces together. You're right. It was definitely not passion. There was no passion. It was not like, you gotta go get this guy. There was none of that. It was more a matter of like, this is where we proved that he traffics Cassie. You know, so it was definitely flat. It was in that sense. But I definitely my take was that it was informative. Meaning there are things that like I was like, oh, okay, I didn't really get that until you just walked us through it, but I guess that makes sense. You know, that like when D-Rock is reaching out to Mia, that's part of her of an effort by Diddy to tamper with her to make sure that she's not going to testify against him. Like I was like, okay, I didn't put that together. What I'm saying is, I do think that there was some things that were helpful from my perspective. I felt there were things that were helpful for the stage.
But we went through all of that. All of that we went through in the last 6 weeks. So my point. I got you, Joe. I got you.
I'm just saying. Look, but you're definitely right. You're definitely right that there was no passion. It was. I felt like it was informative. It was more like a lecture than like a rousing speech. I think that's important.
Were you expecting like more from the closing argument than what? Well, in terms of like
what I'm expecting is really not the point. The reason I think it's not
I
the
got
point,
you.
the reason
I
not the
got
point
you.
is I'm not her
You're right.
audience.
You're right.
I feel like she's trying to reach people who don't understand the law. You know what I'm saying? So you feel me on that? Like I'm just like it's like if you don't understand how has this become trafficking. I learned something today I didn't know before, that even if they don't end up having sex, that it's still considered sex trafficking. That this incident, the Intercontinental, when he tries dragging her back there, and he's trying to drag her back to the room when they're in the middle of a freak ball, that alone would count as trafficking, even though she doesn't end up, that's his force, he's trying to force her into it, and that right there, they're saying is trafficking. To me, that was a novel thing of law. I thought, okay, if she then afterwards would engage in it, then, maybe before she engaged. If you're telling me that's the law, I think Diddy's got problems. But I'm actually in the middle of trying I actually have thoughts about how, we have to see I'll tell you this much. This is what I can assure you. Defense counsel are freaking rock stars. Tomorrow they're going to go out there. By the time they're done, this jury is going to sit there being like, whoa. Okay,
Mark Agnifilo. If Mark Agnifilo bring it, Puffy got it.
There you go.
All right, Joe. I see you. I see you tomorrow.
Diddy sucks up to the judge. What did he say?
So Diddy jumps up, right? Because for some reason he thinks shooting up is the best thing to do. He jumps up. The whole court is like, what's going on? The judge says, hi, I just want to make sure that you understand that you are choosing not to testify. Yes. How you doing, Your Honor? Yes, I do. And may I just say, you're doing an excellent job. The judge looked at him like, okay, I appreciate that. Let's move on. It was such an awesome display of arrogance. And it lets you know maybe this is how he got to the top. The fact that in his mind, he still thought he was running things. And he still thought that he was putting a gold star on Judge Aaron's forehead by saying, I think you're doing an amazing job. Yeah, thanks for that, buddy. Again, it was arrogance in its full display, and the way that Diddy is still trying to cosplay a character out of the Green Mile, almost acting like he doesn't know where he is, and, a big lovable oath that is being falsely convicted. Again, we see why Diddy only made it in music and never made it in acting. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess.
Well, wait a minute. There was that episode in Monster Ball where he played, let's see, what was it? A convicted felon behind bars. He was very convincing at that. Okay, hold on. I got to go out to Rob Shooter. Rob.
Okay, bias only means to certain people, you don't think like me and you're not going with the narrative that I believe. Okay, that's what it means to some people. But anyways, per what I think from what they showed in court, when it comes to Cassie, it is point straight and to the point. Now, when it comes to Jane, it gets a little muddy, and it's like, girl, you just a different story. You was 35 when you started. You already had a rapper that was in the industry as your baby daddy. You was already a person who was in the industry, and you already had resources outside of him, and there was not like a career that he had over your head. It was just a funky a funky little hold on, let me fix this real quick. Hold on 1 second.
I think the feds made a horrible and huge mistake today in their closing arguments. I will get into the details and I will let you know why, but I feel like the door is open for Diddy and his defense team tomorrow to run away with this case. Now, for those of you who might be new in here, I do not take sides. I have no skin in the game. I do think Diddy has caused some crimes, and I do think that he has some mental damage, and there's things that he needs to work out. Sorry. But I am here just really to tell you what has gone on today. I'm your eyes and ears in the case, but I have no skin in the game. I try to stay as neutral as possible and call it like I see it. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm not on anyone's team. However, having said all that, just keeping it real, the prosecution did the same mistake that they've been doing for days, and they just reiterated it even more today. I will break it down, leaving the door huge, wide open for Diddy and team to walk through it. For those of you who are not experienced in court, the two most important times of a court, I don't care how long, if it's 1 day or if it's a year, The two most important things is jury selection and closing arguments. And we have already told you how great and diverse this jury is, and that's advantage Diddy. I don't care what anybody says. The very diverse, black, white, male, female, just it's so diverse. Even the lawyers on the prosecution says that we have such a great diverse jury. So that was a win on both sides, but advantage Diddy. The next important day in court, my friends, is closing arguments. Closing arguments are what the jury really listens to day in and day out. They hear testimony, they're sleeping, they're doing whatever, blah, blah, blah. They really start paying attention. They're like, all right, we just went through 6 or 7 weeks. We're gonna listen today. And the prosecution totally dropped the ball. Sit down, like I said, get a coffee, get a tea, get a drink, do whatever you gotta do. I'll explain to you and I'll take you through the entire day and let you know why I think Diddy's team has a huge opportunity to take this case and run tomorrow morning. So, as
at all says anything about this. Yet, 13 years later, she wants $30 million for a book that she's selling. 13 years later, she wants $30 million for a book that she's selling. And all of a sudden, she attaches this incident to Puff. No evidence at all. And it's only a female DNA on the Molotov cocktail. But when she wants $30 million, she brings this up. You tell me that a reasonable jury can say, yep, that's arson. And that's the reason why the prosecution said, yeah, we're going to remove that charge. And again, people say they're not removing the arson charge, they're just removing the attempt to arson. And I challenge you, are we stupid? If you remove the attempt to arson, isn't that the same evidence that you're going to use to prove the completion of arson? Do you think we're dumb? They're removing arson. Just shut the hell up. You think we're stupid. You think we're dumb. The same evidence that you would have used to prove the completion of arson, you would have used to prove the attempted arson. And it benefits you to have attempted arson in that anyway. And it's the same thing with the kidnapping. But now all these people are backtracking, including the prosecution backtracking. That's what this all is. The prosecution backtracking. They're saying, oh, well, Alexandra Shapiro, in her when she gave a preview of the closing statements, which was not meant to be a preview of the closing statements, but what she really did was gave those statements for Rule 29, and she brought up great points.
Buckingham. Pervert. Watching Harry Potter. Harry Potter. What are them kids gonna do if Diddy assets get seized? Because he didn't prepare the motherfuckers for no business. His daughter's already talking about, we're not going to school, we're going to be fashion designers or some stupid shit. I'm like, okay. Y'all hoes need to go to motherfucking be scientists and neuro doctors or some shit. Lawyers or something. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to go to med school. So you know you straight. Daughter's gonna be fucking with rappers and ball players, getting tossed around, you know, doing podcasts and goddamn OnlyFans. You know, Quincy gonna be all right. Quincy got talent. The one nigga, Justin, don't got no talent. He gonna probably go to jail for either scamming or selling drugs. Christian got talent as a rapper, but nobody's gonna fuck with him in the industry because he looks the splitting image of his pops. His pops' name is dirt out here as far as hip hop. You know, I think he's going to be doing maybe some BET movie. He might go to Tyler Perry. Might fuck with him. He gonna do some Tyler Perry shit, man. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get real loose. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna loose and lube him up. But yeah, the whole legacy will be gone because your daddy want to pay niggas to watch him fuck so he can jack off. That's the long and short of this case.
A lot of information. This was like 6 hours of note taking, crazy people, angry, unhoused people. Deshelle, glad you're doing well, Mims. Thank you. D Prince, the government ate the defense up, tens across the board. They did good. I wouldn't blow smoke up your ass. They did good today. Cassandra, for someone who's not a journalist, Mims, you're sure coming through with good info. Thank you. Mama Flip. Oh, what's up? Mama Flip is also in the courtroom. She says, glad you got into court today. Hope the drama stops, but it'll probably get worse before the end. Look, I'm just going to keep hiring my line sitter and getting there right before time. Outside of that, there's really nothing I can do. I don't think I'm going to do I'm not going to pay this amount every day, but I will do this for what I think are like important days for you guys. Jessica, hi, Mims. It's Jessica from Australia. What's up? What's up, Jess? D Princess, it's a choice to be willfully ignorant as a grown adult as it pertains to this trial. To see some people saying he's innocent is laughable. I don't think so, but hey, at this point, I don't even know what day it is sometimes.
State lines, then it becomes federal, and in that case, possession, in my opinion, not distribution.
Well, I don't think that's actually a charge. The charges are the RICO, and then sex trafficking and prostitution.
Well, there you have it. All I hear then is prostitution, interstate transfer of prostitutes.
Right. But at the end of the day, and I've interviewed one of the male escorts, Punisher, and well, number one, he was not trafficked. You know, he was just paid. He was already living in New York. He would go about a dozen times, meet with them and have their free costs and so forth. I asked him, do you feel like you were trafficked? He said, absolutely not.
Well, see, there's different things. You got trafficking, and then you got interstate transfer of prostitutes.
Right.
And so trafficking, yes, he wasn't, but he was a prostitute that crossed state lines and received monies. And that's what I think he will be found guilty of. That's perhaps the only federal crime I think he should be found guilty of, but it's because it's certainly...
We're all coming to the same conclusions here, Chad. I know we might sound like an echo chamber. We covered the trial for like hours at a time. You know, all the facts are laid on the table. We've talked about this ad nauseum at this point. So if you do hear echo chambers, I'm trying to get other people to weigh in, people who I think have, you know, obviously way more experience in the legal system or have a legal background that's obviously greater than mine. He's a judge. And it feels like a lot of people are agreeing with me. Prostitution charge looks like it's proven. That's count 3, count 5. That's where the Mann Act falls under, okay? Prostitution. Sex trafficking, that's not, sex trafficking under this statute is kind of also the Mann Act, but it's different. But the prostitution thing, we all agree. Which, here's the thing. The defense has to do this good job tomorrow. They got to do a great job overall, but if we're thinking that they're going to get, if any conviction or the easiest conviction is going to be for interstate transfer of prostitutes, they're going to have to argue Diddy never hired prostitutes. He hired them for being escorts, and in their time spent with Diddy, if they wanted to have sex, they could. Now, that's a hard sell because the women involved all said these guys are basically prostitutes. And the guys themselves, like they would normally said, even the Sheree guy who he said like he didn't feel like he was trafficked, but he admitted, he said the first time he didn't have sex, but after every other time he had sex. So they're all basically, and they all said that based on the performance of their sex, they would get paid more. So at that point, it's like, they're fucking prostitutes, bro. So I don't know how they're going to get over this escort idea tomorrow, but they have to try to get him not convicted on those 2 charges.
It doesn't amount to RICO. The things that they've attempted to prove, they did not prove enough to connect it to a RICO case, a continuing criminal enterprise.
I totally agree on that. I think the RICO is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, Bad Boy is not a mafia organization.
Correct.
That's just, trying to present to the world that it's a real company, but really they're like extorting and, trafficking drugs. It's a real company.
That's
They really
exactly
sell
what
records.
they're trying to suggest.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
I think they're going back to the kids down in Atlanta. That, by the way, they were exonerated, I believe, 1 or 2 of them.
YSL case.
Yeah, YSL case.
Yeah, man. So that's the diversity. With the diverse situation we in, everybody is he's guilty, he's not guilty. I'm gonna tell you the truth. You can't lock that man up for 20, 30 years, man, for the bullshit that y'all having sex and come on, man. That's goofy as hell. It looked like Diddy was a clean billionaire to me. Like, cause all that shit we was hearing it before, this dope in the baby bottles, he got this and that and all this shit, the kids and shit, man. We ain't hear none of that shit. Cassie, Jane Doe, the other little broad, they seem willing participants. Diddy ain't really did shit, man. Locking that man up for 30 years is stupid. Hey, you could like him, and you don't have to like him. I don't got no motherfucking sense in this shit for real. You know what I mean? I'm just saying this shit happen to motherfuckers all the time where they trying to railroad a motherfucker, man. Fuck out of here, man. Y'all look goofy as hell. Talking about, hey, man, hey, happy as a bitch. Hey, now, I'm not saying Diddy ain't no demon, but you too motherfucking happy. You should be more focused on who really the problem. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's like a motherfucker cop sweating a motherfucker for a parking space when it's right across the street, motherfuckers going in there shooting motherfuckers up and robbing them. Focus on them. That's more of the motherfucking cause. Why you focus on this little shit? Fuck out of here, man. I ain't going. Free Diddy. Fuck the feds. And I know women is like, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a strong place in my heart for women, but listen. Everything ain't, you know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers say all type of shit throw you off. Y'all are women, and we y'all men. So, man, get y'all shit together, man. And hey, man, like that like button, comment, subscribe. Give your boy some goddamn engagements, because your boy trying to grow. You hear me? I'm out.